Stanford awaits the winner of this one. We are underway. The 4-5 matchup in Tallahassee. Our Ally ACC Women's Soccer Championship first round is underway. Arya Masudi, Michael Lahoud, our entire crew. And you look at what's at stake. Virginia looking for their first semifinal since 2021. Florida State looking for their 8th straight ACC semifinal appearance. The Noles last year, of course, beating Notre Dame in this round and then knocking off Wake Forest in penalties in the semis before beating North Carolina for their 5th straight title. And Brian Pensky telling us before this one, look, that's a ridiculous mark for anyone. The expectations at Florida State are so high. Michael, Florida State has established itself as one of the best programs in the entire country over the last 20 years.
Yeah, they've really been the gold standard in the women's game, but when it comes to the ACC tournament, they are the gold standard in terms of quality and most importantly, in terms of winning.
That goes out for a throw-in for the Cavaliers. Ball played forward, Suarez into the 18, looking to angle her way, create space, drop back, shot high. Clip from behind was Dudley, but that's what Florida State can do, Mike. They are so dangerous in transition.
They're so quick, fleet of foot, and when they set up in a mid-block, it's always the late runner crashing the box that's the most dangerous, and on this occasion, it's Dudley. She is definitely the player to watch tonight.
You're watching the Ally ACC Women's Soccer Championship. And for those of you who just saw Duke take down Louisville in the 3-6 matchup, 1-0, the Blue Devils are heading to Cary, North Carolina. We're here with 4th-seeded Florida State against 5th-seeded Virginia. The Cavaliers looking to make the semis for the first time since 2021. The Noles have won 5 straight ACC championships, and the winner takes on Stanford, the regular season champs, in their 2nd season in the ACC. Arya Masudi, Michael Lahoud, our entire crew. We are so thrilled to be with you here from Tallahassee tonight. It's a rematch of a game that happened under 10 days ago. Florida State winning 3-2 on Rihanna Hudson's 89th minute goal. Mike, you know the Cavaliers are thinking about this one.
Yeah, they definitely are, and we've seen it play in the offensive end. Their last game against BC, rattling off 30 shots and getting the big 3 points and getting the 2-0 win. If I'm a player, whether I'm starting or coming off the bench, it's win or win. There's no alternative.
No alternative indeed. A Seminole team who used that victory against Virginia in Charlottesville on October 23rd as a springboard. They had been struggling. It was a program that had lost 2 matches and had been winless in 3. They found a way to get 3 points against a top 5 opponent, and that could be what teams use, right? To be able to find ways to move forward into the postseason and get your mojo back, as Brian Pensky put it.
Sometimes it could be a crisis of identity. This Florida State side were cruising throughout the season. The one that really caught my eye wasn't so much the Stanford game, it was the Notre Dame game where they had the lead and then gave it away. That is not what Florida State women's soccer has been about, but they've really righted the wrong, and that's down to this coach right here, Brian Pensky, who only knows one thing when it comes to this time of year, Arya, and that's winning.
No doubt about that. He had a national title in his 2nd season in Tallahassee. Michael, you posed a really good question to him. You said the Noles turn it up in the postseason, something about FSU. And he said that attention to detail and that focus, and he credited the senior leadership for his team. There's Sophia Wen, one of the seniors on that team. This time of year, Mike, you got to lead. You got to lean on some of those seniors, right? Take us back to your playing days. and what this time of year meant for your club.
This was a time of year that a lot of the upperclassmen set the standard, and I thought that was something that Coach talked about that reminded me of my time when I was at Wake Forest, where he said there's an expectation, and when I see this team and this senior class, it's an expectation of excellence, and excellence only comes from winning experiences. When you've been to the mountaintop, whether it be in the conference tournament or with the national championship, as this senior class has done, then there is no alternative but to be excellent this time of year. Their intensity in both boxes, I think, is what separates them in tournament time.
Corner kick for Florida State. And that man looking on, Steve Swanson, in his 26th year at the helm of Virginia, got career number 500 in the last matchup against Boston College. He said, I like to look at it as 500 relationships. And he pointed to all the different people, including his family, that led him to this type of success, the three-time ACC Coach of the Year. As Suarez out-swinging ball towards that 6-yard box, dangerous, as OKK charges on as well. A foul called, whistle. And it'll be a dangerous free kick opportunity for the Noles. Virginia, when we had our conversation earlier this week, pointed to set pieces that could be a difference here in this matchup.
And you have to be careful when you're playing against a very good set-piece side like Florida State is. You have to be mindful of where your hands are. You can't give cheap fouls away because you could get punished early on.
Suarez standing over the ball. Where's this thing going, Michael? Where do you got to put it?
Oftentimes, back post is the one to watch.
Suarez signals to her team. That ball whipping in, headed away. Still in the 18. Dangerous moments for Virginia. OKK gets a foot on it there. Tatum Galvin clears it out. It's a throw in for FSU, and you can already see the pressure, that high-octane counter press from Florida State really causing issues.
The second phase is the most dangerous phase of the game when the ball's floated in the air, and that's what Florida State has done so well, especially late on in the season. Going back to the game-winning goal they scored, Rihanna Hudson wins a second phase opportunity. You cannot let the ball bounce in your own box.
Gary Helfrich able to clear that ball out. But Florida State charging back towards that 18. Simmons creating angles. Has to win this 1v1, dealt with well. It's another throw in for Florida State, who has the early portion of the tempo here. Gilchrist, the senior, to OKK, another veteran. Michael, what do you want to see for both of these teams?
When I look at the Seminoles, it's taking care of this home field advantage. I was going through the stats, and during the Brian Penske era, they have won 36 of 44 possible matches at this very ground. Not many teams come here and have success, and that's not even saying teams are coming in and getting wins. That's just teams surviving, so really using that experience here at home. Next is set pieces. We had talked about how good they are at set pieces. Set pieces live within your bones. And last but not least, in postseason play, there's this thing called winning time. You smell it in the air, you smell blood in the water, and you make the other team pay.
Who are the two players you're looking at for winning time if you're the Noles and the Cavaliers?
For Florida State, it's got to be Jordan Dudley. Just her sense in and around the box of what the game needs and where the ball needs to go, whether that be taking it herself or setting up her teammates. On the other end, a player like Maggie Cagle. We haven't really talked about her much in the build-up to this game. She is due for a statement goal, and this could be just the platform for that to be.
How about the Cavaliers?
For the Cavs, you got to manage the momentum. I was really surprised for a side that has experienced players. Hold that thought for a second.
Ball played out to the 18. Could be one of your keys coming here in just a moment on the turn. Cagle creating some space. Headed away. It's a Virginia team who had a couple of goals on balls they got wide and found success against Florida State in that matchup just about a week ago.
Yeah, managing the momentum. When momentum is there, you have to seize it. And they really started seizing momentum in pockets in the second half. You make it 2-2, and you have to keep your wits about you. Their success in that game, and I think a big part of their success tonight is going to come from winning wide matchups. When it's there for the taking, I look at a player like McDermott who loves to drift wide, go 1v1, and get to the byline. Last but not least, when you play against Florida State, yes, take your opportunities, but it's down to collective defending. Florida State, they score goals, and they do it in bunches. Teams that defend collectively tend to get good results against them.
Here's Simmons, a Noles team that knows how to score. Like Michael said, 43 goals on the year, nearly 3 goals per match. Dudley, terrific move to create space on that cross, whips it in, headed out. And cleared out for the time being by these Cavaliers. See that top 5 in the country in scoring on the year. You hear that Garnet and Gold chant, the home fans trying to give Florida State some energy. That's something Steve Swanson said would be a key for his team as well, was managing the road atmosphere here in postseason time.
And that comes down to having control, especially in the middle of the park. Virginia is very technical, and you have to be savvy in terms of, do you go long, do you go short? Can you starve Florida State of the ball? The Noles, they want to get the ball and then ram it right down your throat, getting the goal as fast as possible. If you maintain control, then you can frustrate them for just the endurance of the game.
You see Michael's bio, his stats, the resume. You should believe what he's telling you. That's what that says.
I'm surprised he didn't have best hair in broadcasting. Come on, I want that.
You could put my FIFA video game numbers if you want, if you really want credentials on that one. Early action here in Tallahassee between the Noles and the Cavaliers. FSU's 10-2-3 on the year, 6-2-2 in the ACC. Matter of fact, earlier this year, Florida State had a 33 unbeaten streak at home snapped by Stanford that had dated back almost 4 seasons, a 2-1 loss to the Cardinal, or the ACC regular season champions. And you see the 8 RPI. It's a huge matchup. As you see Washington trying to get into the top of the 18, charging on, stays on her feet. Suarez angling on her right foot, shot. Safradin had near post cover.
Right on the money. Virginia being very, very adept in shifting across, but look at how quickly Florida State gets numbers running. It's always the runner from deep, and this time Suarez, because her first and second touch are taking her away from goal. That's why she can't generate enough power. But full credit to Safradin for getting her angles right, and that's a routine save for a high-quality goalkeeper.
Terrific touch into the box there. Laid off. Cagle on her right, cuts it back to her left. Terrific tackle. Simmons saves the day for Florida State for the time being. Boy, that was dangerous, though. McDermott's speed could be a difference here tonight. It looked the part there.
And when we talked with Brian Penske, he highlighted her as the player to watch for the Cavaliers. That he said we have to be mindful of the different spaces that she picks up. And I just think that the more she gets in those 1v1 matchups to be able to round the corner, her decision making, which was on the money in this opportunity for the Cavs, will be the difference. If you're Cagle, that has to be off her foot in the second touch. But what a tackle right there. Talk about setting the tone. That's how you set the tone in your own box.
Cameron Simmons, the senior from Midlothian, Virginia, began her career in the SEC at Tennessee. Brian Penske was just a couple of seasons ago. Godfrey unlocking ball, but O'Keen able to get off her line. How about the freshman reading it well?
It's wise beyond their years to come out and just build confidence. That's what young players, and it's my advice to young players. I was one. I wasn't a goalkeeper, thank God, because that probably would have gone through my legs. But as a young goalkeeper, I've gotten to play with some of the best in the college game. Making sure those routine saves are made early on will give you confidence.
Confidence for a Virginia team, as you see Simmons on your screen, but it's a Virginia team who has 12 wins on the year. They've got the #1 RPI here in the country coming into this matchup, and Steve Swanson was telling us It's a group that has been together for a very long time, right? The Godfreys, the Kegels of the world. They have confidence, they have chemistry, and they do believe that this season they've got a chance to make it back to the College Cup for the first time since 2021.
I loved his perspective, not just on the 500 wins, but on what this game means for Virginia. It's a blank slate, and I love that he said it's a new season for them and the rest of the field, and not being caught up in the moment, I think, is what this experienced side will look to be. That so far they're winning 1v1 duels, they're shifting, and really look like a well-oiled unit. They'll have to stick together, especially when it comes to those difficult stretches where their backs are up against the wall to get over the hump. Oof, that's Ella Carter that takes one right off her chest. It's good to see her back up and ready to play, though.
I think, Michael, that was Lainey Rouse, 23, the senior from Cary, North Carolina, who has a chance, I think, to be able to make it back to her hometown for the semifinals. That would be very special for the Rouse family. One of the best defenders in the ACC. Had a goal and an assist against Duke earlier this year. That goal, the first for her since 2022. She's been named to the Mac Hermann midseason list. A ton of ACC names that are up for the Mac Hermann. Just the depth of this league, the strength, the talent pool, I think it's unmatched when you look around the country.
It's the best conference in college soccer, whether it's the men's, the women's, and it really shows. And just look at the field.
Oh, McCormack turns Virginia over, but great emergency defending by Virginia.
And those are the moments that the Cavs and the Cavaliers have to be mindful of, not being sloppy or lax in the build-out. Florida State very good in the box when they're driving in transition.
Halpern fires O'Keen, knocks it over the bar. An early test for the freshman. Couple of rookies in on that play.
And I love this from the Cavaliers. Addison Halpern, she scored in this previous meeting, and why not? Show some confidence. Testing young goalkeepers early is how you see if she's up to snuff, and she is up to snuff and equally up for the match. Outstanding save.
O'Keen continues to grow in confidence, but Halpern, number 5 overall recruit in last year's top 100 recruiting class by Top Drawer Soccer. Corner coming. Carter plays it short. Good dummy there. Godfrey firing away in traffic. Dangerous spot. Going down is Mackey and cleared out. Oh, nervy moments for the Noles. Virginia found themselves in a good spot for the opener.
And giving Florida State a bit of taste of their own medicine. And this is something that's been worked on the training ground, to see the dummy near post. And I love this, but sort your feet out. Florida State, when you play against them, you'll get a slight window of opportunity. You're not going to be able to get 2 or 3 touches to sort your feet out. You only get a half second to get that window towards goal, and it's a window miss, an opportunity miss for the Cavaliers.
This 4-5 matchup is 2 top 10 teams here on the season in the rematch. A 3-2 win for Florida State. 7th consecutive game against Virginia where the Noles have gotten a result. See what's at stake here. Both teams trying to make it back to Cary, North Carolina. Speed ahead for Dudley. Cuts it back to her left. One of the most dangerous attackers in the league. On her right, terrific defending. Oh, Mackey just laid it out on the line and stuffed out Dudley there. It's a corner.
Well done from Mackey. She doesn't bite. She knows that Dudley is very right-footed, and that is quality defending on display. If she gets that wrong, it's 1-0, and Virginia are thinking, uh-oh, here we go again. But she's going to have a big night ahead of her. That is one of the many plays she'll have to make.
Mackey from the state of Florida. That header there, rising high. Simmons just missed over the bar. Dangerous moment for the Noles, looking good on a set piece. Already 3 corners for Florida State in this one. 7 shots total. in the early going between the two teams. 4 for Florida State and 3 for Virginia. Oh, O'Keen out of the box, sweeper keeper action. Washington, dangerous. Through ball, Suarez on her right, cuts it back. Her shot blocked. Galvin was there.
This is about the third time Suarez has made a late run from midfield, and this is down to Galvin making sure she reads the angle. And I love this. It's back-to-back plays where defenders are not biting. It's reading the angle and getting her frame and her body in front of the shot. Virginia playing with fire a bit, not winning second balls. But full credit to Galvin for making a much-needed block.
Fourth corner for Florida State. Suarez, header, out of the box. McGovern tries to chip it back into the 18. Virginia clears it forward. And the Noles will reset here. Michael, you've seen about 20 minutes of action now. How do you feel like this game is dictating in terms of tempo?
For Florida State, they've had a lot of the possession. They've had the best chances, and it's been
Simmons on that cross, nobody home.
Two players, Simmons right on the money, that's really stood out. And I think we talked a lot about Jordan Dudley and how this was going to be her game and her time to continue to shine. But I've really been impressed by the industry of Simmons out wide and the industry and the range of Suarez making runs from midfield. For the Cavaliers, you have to get more control in the middle of the park. Their best chances have come from the ball out wide, hitting diagonals, but also finding the numerical advantage in the midfield and then getting to goal. They have to be mindful of late runners, or else they could find themselves down 1-0.
Florida State team who won 4-1 on senior night on Thursday. Terrific touch there, give and go, beautiful. Washington shot just wide.
Outstanding combination play, and Washington has really been that link between the midfield and the attack, and this looked like a shot come cross. I'm going to say she attempted to go and find that far post. Virginia having to survive a bit in these last 5 minutes.
What did these coaches tell us earlier this week? Florida State said, we want to make our opponents uncomfortable. That is the name of the game for us. Virginia wants to hold on to the ball, wants comfort, wants tempo, wants to be able to build up play and keep the ball away from FSU. Mike, who's got the upper hand early on in this one?
I mean, there's only one team, and it's a team in white. They come wave after wave after wave. Their press is relentless, and they're one of the best teams I've seen in the women's college soccer game without the ball. They're very comfortable without the ball, almost as comfortable as they are with the ball. And as soon as they turn you over in your end, they will make life very uncomfortable.
A Seminole team who does it even better at home. They've lost one time in the last 7 years in Tallahassee. And that happened this year to Stanford, as I mentioned earlier. Set piece. Noles were looking for an angle. Now Virginia, can they hit the Noles on the break? Played out wide into the space. Angling for a channel, running forward. That's Godfrey. She's dangerous. Keep an eye on her. Leah Godfrey from Fleming Island, Florida. Godfrey turns, deflection. It's loose in the middle of the box and cleared out. On the ball, recycled back in, second one. Boy, that one was cleared out too. How about Virginia though? Not quite out of punches here yet in the first half.
They have to be methodical when they get their opportunities, surviving the last 5 minutes where Florida State, they have 4 shots and 4 opportunities to almost get the opener. But the Cavaliers finding a lot of success down this left-hand side. 2 of their clear-cut opportunities in terms of the flow of the game, in terms of the build-up, coming down the left channel and looking for the cutback in around the 6. Almost was executed to perfection.
Much to the chagrin of foul of all the Florida State fans in attendance here. But a set piece now for Virginia. That was Carrie Helfrich, the freshman from McLean, Virginia. Two-time high school All-American who created that. Now Godfrey look to put this ball near that penalty spot. Godfrey, delivery, goes for net. Trying to catch O'Keen napping. Michael, you like it?
Yeah, very cheeky, and that's much more like the Leah Godfrey I want to see. Leah Godfrey that was the talk of the town a couple seasons ago. Maybe a bit of a warning sign for O'Keen not to cheat. Here, Virginia players getting tackling their own player. I mean, that would have been a massive talking point if that ball or that shot come cross or that free kick ended up being a goal. Is there video review? We go back for that?
You got to be able to sell it, right, in this game. What a ball forward. Hudson trying to race onto it, defending individually by Maya Carter, the senior. Was able to get to it just a step sooner. Hudson was in the game for FSU. You see Allie Ross has come in now, number 8 for Virginia. Our crew doing a great job of keeping you posted and keeping you updated. These teams don't sub a ton, but they do have 5 or 6 players that they count on off the bench.
If I'm Virginia, this is where I lock in, because this was the same front two that came to haunt them in the second half. Rihanna Hudson and Jordan Dudley, very physical, very pacey in transition, and can create something out of nothing.
I want to remind you that this week we continue our coverage of fall championships on ACC Network. On Tuesday, tune in at 10 a.m. as the ACC field hockey quarterfinals begin. On Thursday, the ACC Women's Soccer Championship continues with the semifinals, and finally, men's soccer quarterfinals begin next Sunday at 2 o'clock. Championship season, Mike, gotta love it. This is when the hardware is handed out.
I love this time of year. I actually love the ACC Tournament Championship, probably even more than I love the College Cup and the NCAA Tournament, because it is survival of the fittest. And oftentimes, the team that got the business done in the regular season isn't the team that is the last team standing hoisting the trophy. The parity that exists in this conference is on full display come ACC tournament time.
Well, you know, the Noles have lifted the trophy 5 times in a row. Brian Pinsky was quick to remind me this morning when we talked to him. I said he got 4 in a row. He goes, I don't correct you often, but we got 5 in a row. And I said, my bad, coach. I will have it right for the broadcast by the time we kick off at 8 o'clock. You can see it off the bug. The Seminoles have reached every tournament since 1995 and are the only team in the ACC that's made every single ACC tournament since joining the conference.
I had to do a double take when I saw the 11 because I majored in math and I love numbers. And so when you look at the 11, 8 have come in the last decade, right? So they've won 8 of the last 10 ACC tournament championships, which is insane.
It is, and it's pure dominance from Florida State. You could make the argument over the last 15 years or so has stamped itself as the premier program in the ACC, and that is considering that North Carolina just won a national title last season. Stanford's knocking on the door, Virginia, Duke, Notre Dame. There are so many quality teams here in this league that on any given night, you never know who's going to win.
I love that we're talking about this topic because I think each and every one of these teams that we mentioned, your Stanfords, your Notre Dames, I mean, Notre Dame unbeaten in the entire season, right? Up until the very end. They keep each other sharp when it counts.
That ball is loose! Oh my goodness! Michael, not to put a pin in your conversation, but that ball dropped right in front of Hudson, who almost had a carbon copy of her game winner against Virginia just 10 days ago.
And Safradin coming up with another monster moment. She had to get that right, making herself big to keep this 0-0.
Got a stoppage of play. As Florida State's got another corner. This will be number 5 as we take another look.
Set pieces is the name of the game. Keep an eye on Hudson. She just floats, but Safradin using her legs. Look at how big she makes her body, sprawling out, and that is one of the best saves you're going to see all tournament long. Oh,
it's Sophia Wynn, by the way, who's shaken up, slow to get up. the senior from Pensacola, who Brian Penske credited as someone who gave the new coaching staff a chance, right? A legend in Mark Krikorian moves on to a new venture, a recruiting class that included Sophia Wen and Heather Gilchrist, decided to believe in what Brian Penske could offer, and she won a national title by year 2 under Brian Penske. The decision is paid off with multiple college cups as well.
Trust is the most important thing that you can have between a player and coach. And I remember just in the global game, there's a manager, world renowned, and he's since passed, Sir Bobby Robson. And they asked him, Sir Bobby, what is your success down to? And he said, a manager and a good manager is only as good as the players who trust him. And these Florida State players have given their trust to Brian Penske, and we see it paying dividends, especially this time of year.
He has been phenomenal at multiple institutions, at Maryland, at Tennessee, at Florida State. Brian Penske, the only coach who's won Conference Coach of the Year at 3 different programs. A joy just to have conversation with Brian, who comes in, accepted the pedigree of the program he was taking over, and he's taken it to even new heights. And Florida State looks dangerous, right? Yet again this year, hungry off the loss from last year to Vanderbilt in the second round to make it back to the College Cup with the seasoned roster.
It was awesome to reconnect with him, and just going down memory lane, I was actually telling my wife, and I'll have to hold that thought yet again.
Corner into the box, Suarez, and that will go out. Michael, you may continue your conversation as offside was also up.
Thank you very much. No, I was actually telling my wife, I remember when I was a sophomore in high school, Brian Penske came to recruit me when he was with the men's program at University of Maryland. So I remember looking in the stands and seeing this gentleman with this intense stare and just looking at every single detail and watching him as a head coach. He's a taskmaster, but his attention to detail is what I think really sets him apart. We saw that at Tennessee. We see that here at Florida State. I mean, they are one of the more detail-oriented teams in college soccer.
Noles getting forward. In that Brian Penske system, they want to make you uncomfortable. They transition quickly. They put a ton of pressure on you. They're one of the most athletic teams in the country. Hudson turning on the shot. Couldn't quite get her weight behind the ball, but a good idea by the sophomore.
Whenever Dudley drops deep, it's like time stands still, right? She draws so many players towards her, and she's looking to make that line-breaking pass, whether that be to Hudson or Sanchez or players running off of her. Look for that to continue for the likes of Dudley to be the playmaker when Hudson's on the field.
It's been a terrific jump forward for Rihanna Hudson. 2 goals last year in her rookie campaign, now 11 here this season. Brian Penske talking about how they wanted to get her meaner, tougher, a little more ruthless. She's done that. One of the league leaders in goals on the year and leads Florida State with those double digits. Virginia angling, pressuring the Seminoles. They're getting closer to that 18. Terrific ball. Unlocks a pass towards the center of the box. Cleared away. Florida State quick off their line. Now Virginia looking for a second ball. Recycled in. Cleared out. Will that be a throw or a corner? It will be a throw. They're on the touchline.
Much of the success that Virginia's having is coming from wide play and showing a lot more patience in the last 2 or 3 minutes to set up the overloads. And that's why one of the keys to the game that I had for the Cavaliers was winning your wide matchups. Florida State's so compact centrally. They have numbers in the box, numbers at the top of the box. So you're going to get more time and space to overload and then pick up your head and get quality service in the final third.
Oh, poor ball back, Safradin. Had to show off the wheels just to get to that one. This is what Florida State does. They make you uncomfortable. Advantage given. Hudson plays it to the 18. It's Dudley there, just missed.
And Ari, I think before the sloppy pass was on Mackey, who played a blind pass backward to Safradin. And that's the second time we've seen sloppy play out of the back for the Cavaliers. And we have a player down for Florida State.
Heather Gilchrist, yeah, number 20. A senior for FSU means a ton to this Noles team. Is she already cramping up? It's been a long season, huh, Michael, at this point for all these players, put a ton of minutes on their bodies. Senior from Boulder, Colorado. This is where that mental toughness, conditioning, and all the different things you do in the middle of the week matter, right, this time of year.
It's the mental gymnastics, it's the physical, the mental stamina, and if there's anyone who has all those things embodied, it's Gilchrist. She's such a warrior, and in the previous play, it was her winning the 50-50 duel to set up that opportunity for the Noles in the final third.
8 shots for Florida State to 4 for Virginia. Noles have got 6 of those in the last 15 minutes alone. They have ratcheted up the pressure. Cologne, transfer from Arizona State. Suarez, dangerous. Tried to unlock Dudley. Just couldn't quite find that angle there for Dudley's run. Under 12 to play, Virginia under a bunch of pressure. Ironically enough, in that match back on October 23rd against these two teams, there were no goals in the first half. 0-0 going into the locker room, and 5 goals just like that in the second half turned into a shootout. Nice work there from Ross, the junior, looking for an angle to cross, does so well. It finds at the back of the 18, another cross, nobody home, but it does find Allie Ross, tries for the nutmeg there, cleared off the line. Terrific defending from Florida State.
It's Gilchrist looking like she's healed up just fine after he took that knock, but full credit to Ross for recognizing she was isolated 1v1. It's Mackey again with an uncharacteristic sloppy pass.
So a mistouch there by the Cavaliers. Another sub coming in. It's Sophia Bradley. You see number 3, and for Florida State, Nanya Torre in for Una McCormack. And there's Una, who actually started her career at Virginia, playing against her former team. Sophia Bradley, who we just said, she's coming in for Meredith McDermott for these final 10 minutes of the half. Torre, on that U17 U.S. World Cup team, was eliminated by the Netherlands in a penalty shootout in the round of 16. Torre and Evan Osteen for Florida State on that roster, the keeper. The Noles have 3 outstanding keepers here on the year. Threatening for the first goal, looking for Torre. Torre running on, cleared out. It'll be a throw for FSU, and that's Rouse again.
It's amazing how much talent is on this very field. When you think of former U17, U20 national team members, players who went to the Women's World Cup for the under-20s a season ago. I know the Florida State, they have 2 teammates, and Dudley and Gilchrist, who were part of that team that finished 3rd. Just love seeing just the wealth of talent for both sides on display.
McGovern to Torre. Noles now connecting a little bit. This is something Brian Penske wants his team to be able to do, to be versatile in the way they play. Some build-up action. And playing from the back now is Gilchrist comfortable on the ball. Florida State actually made a change to get Mimi Van Zanten back. Onto that back 3, felt like the Noles would be in better position to be on the ball with Van Zanten, who they've tried in multiple positions here this year. A little clip and a foul.
I think oftentimes when you look at a 3-5-2 or any team that plays a back 3, the most important player, most coaches would say, would be the center back in the middle of the back 3. But for the Noles, it's the 2 wide center backs, because their ability to penetrate on the dribble or penetrate on the pass, and we've seen it be shippy at times. This routine foul, maybe clumsy reaching in there.
5 fouls for Virginia so far, just 1 for Florida State. Unlocking ball, Torre couldn't make that extra step to get there. It was cleared away. Not a bad idea, though. McGovern on the ball, looking for a teammate to connect to, drops it back. Virginia now has all 11 behind the ball. Gilchrist. Now OKK, transfer from NC State, who has been phenomenal for Florida State on that back line. Here's Gilchrist. Direct ball forward for Cologne. Cleared out there. All right, fans, college basketball season tips off tomorrow, and we've got you covered with a double-header right here on ACC Network and the all-new ESPN app. Number 25, North Carolina, hosts Central Arkansas at 7 Eastern, and then number 11, Louisville, hosting South Carolina State. Oh, college hoops is back, baby. Can't wait for that. Terrific time of year.
Still have vivid memories of last year's Final Four, and I can't believe that Duke, with players, the #1 pick, lost in that national semifinal. It just leaves me wanting a bit more this season.
Torre on her left foot, clears it back. Van Zanten recycles it back towards the 18. Cologne on her right foot, cross, deflected out of the box. Gilchrist turning, last touch, it'll be a throw for Virginia.
It's good defending from the Cavaliers, and goes back to that collective defending, not taking any chances. You have players in the front line dropping deep, different defenders from Florida State, and now this is where you take pressure off yourself. You win second balls, and as soon as you feel a touch, you feel some aggression, and this is Godfrey, her experience showing there. Fouls slow the game down, and for Virginia, slowing the game down is what you want, because you want to see yourself get into the half, keeping it 0-0. If you can sneak a goal in at half, that's great. That's a bonus. But keeping it zeros will give you more confidence as the game goes.
It feels like putting up zeros is even more important, isn't it, in the postseason when you're trying to advance in a knockout format?
It really is. Earlier in the season, prior to when these two teams met, Virginia, they looked resolute defensively, and then a bit of confidence was rattled a bit defensively. Now this is a chance to get back.
And a chance here for Florida State as Hudson stops on a dime. Dudley to her right foot, angling inside, crafting out space, touch there, cleared out. Now Virginia on the transition, Godfrey. Bradley to her right foot, plays it direct, headed down. That was Van Zanten, McGovern's feet. Now Lara Dantas, the Brazilian. Force OKK to hit the ball forward. Does find Dudley. Dudley unlocking pass, Torre. Noles now have a 3-on-3. Now it's a 4-on-3 with Cologne getting into it. Torre's final ball. Tackled out well. It was intended for Dantas.
Oh, that was a goal-saving interception. We see Dudley coming back. Our two-star players getting stuck in.
And Godfrey had gotten through, huh? And that was Dudley for sure. Just trying to slow it down and prevent the counter.
She knew exactly what she was doing. It's a professional foul, and we've seen Virginia break before with Halperin, where she got a stone-cold shot from just outside the box, breaking forward like that. So for Florida State side that's good at defending set pieces as well as attacking them, that's a smart foul to give up.
Dudley was given a yellow card, so Florida State star is into the book with a caution. That's a tactical foul. You'll take that yellow every single time, right, if you're the defender. Ball played into the box, all deflected. O'Keen able to pick it up there.
I take that in college, I take that in the pros, I take that in my Sunday men's league game. That's just smart football on display.
O'Keen The big boot past midfield. Big tackle there, away from the ball, and I think we've got another booking coming. This time, going to be for Virginia. That's McGrew who went down.
And keep it on the left side of your screen. McGrew is off to the races, and that is definitely a clear yellow card on Cagle. I mean, just the kick out there, Aria, it's always going to be given as a yellow, and she didn't have to do that. She had a teammate coming across. I don't know, some words were said, but maybe a bit of panic there, the decision to do that. Now it becomes more interesting as it goes to the monitor. It's for the number one thing that I can think of is violent conduct, because there's no intention to play the ball on McGrew, but the thing that cancels that out is there is a teammate coming across for the Cavaliers. I think this should stay as a yellow and not be given as a red, because it's a clear foul. There's no intention to play the ball. It'd be very harsh if she was sent off.
And indeed, we're getting confirmation. They are checking to see if they would upgrade that to a red card on Maggie Cagle, who's one of the best players in the college game. She's got 8 goals on the year, 3-time All-ACC member. The senior from Phoenix. This would be a massive blow to Virginia here in the first half, early in this contest, with an entire half left to play. Our head official is Ashley Cedro. We were being told no red card will be given after a conversation there as well to let Steve Swanson know. Take one more look, Michael. What do you think?
It's the correct call. Now, if a teammate wasn't coming across, and so the thing that's in question, is it violent conduct? That is an aggressive play. It's a professional foul, but it is not aggressive enough to be violent conduct. And smart refereeing, because I've seen it where a lot of referees, because the picture frame, when it's video review, moves very slowly, things tend to be more intense when the picture is slowed down. And now that shows me it's an experienced referee, and it's made the right decision that doesn't disrupt this game.
Set piece, though, for Laura Dantas, who sends it in. It's headed over the bar. It'll be a corner kick after a deflection was taken. Virginia got the last touch. 6th corner coming for Florida State here in the first half.
Where Virginia have to be mindful. You have 3 minutes left. You've defended resolutely, defended as a collective. This is where communication comes in.
Dantas, in swinging ball, Safradin up for the challenge. Torre with the back to goal. Just trying to create an angle to find a teammate, and does. Cologne, Seminoles will recycle from the back. Van Zanten switches the point. Dantas again. Just lost the ball. And it'll be a throw here for Virginia.
Safradin has been Virginia's best player on the night. She's just had confident goalkeeping, and I love that, because as a goalkeeper, you don't want a chance trying to come out to collect it when there's a traffic row full of people. You can easily come out, misclaim that, and now Florida State gets an easy goal. And I love that even though she's undersized, she's playing with the heart of a lion or a lioness.
She's been fearless, without a doubt. Safradin, the junior, who has been so important for Virginia over the last couple of seasons. Had 5 saves against FSU the first time these two teams met. Another crunching tackle. Although Virginia was the one who took the brunt of it. Number 6, Addison Halpern. Quick play from Florida State. McGovern now to Gilchrist. Still 0-0. Florida State team, top 10 of the nation in points per game, goals per game, and assists, being held scoreless by Virginia. They have looked oh so threatening. And important to note, the Noles have scored at least one goal in 70 consecutive games dating back to 2022. Something at halftime. We want to talk about this high-flying Florida State attack, but also Louisville Duke. We've got to find out who's heading to Cary to take on Notre Dame, and we've got first half highlights. You won't want to miss it here on ACC Network. 50 seconds to play in this opening stanza.
See that prolific attack. Keep the ball moving for the Cavaliers. See it out to half. I know it's going to be tempting to want to get to the box, but
throw in coming for Virginia. Cross was deflected. Bouncing in the box, a foul there as OKK went down.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Final few moments ticking off the clock. We're going to talk to Brian Pensky, Florida State's head coach. Before we do that, Michael, thoughts so far here in the first 45 minutes from both teams?
It's a hotly contested first half Tar Heels when it comes to the Atlantic Coast Conference. It used to be North Carolina and everyone else. Now not so much, and that's down to the parity, the quality of recruitment, the quality of coaches that exist in this conference. Brian Penske's side, they are the belle of the ball, but will the clock strike midnight tonight? We will see in the second half.
Again, a Virginia team, too, who hasn't won in Tallahassee since 2019 against this Seminole team. Not many teams have. Florida State, nearly 90% win rate in tally since 2005. Second half is underway. Florida State moving right to left on your screen there in those white jerseys. If you're just joining us, you miss an action-packed first half. Didn't see any goals, but 14 shots between these two teams. We'll see what adjustments are made as Virginia getting forward early. Looking for a quick strike. OKK able to be there, and O'Keen clearing it out for a throw. Mike, what do you want to see adjustment-wise from these two?
From Virginia, it's just right on the money. Leah Godfrey, I thought as the half went on, she asserted a bit more control in terms of winning second balls, winning duels. She's small in stature, but her low center of gravity gives her an advantage. Now it's about decision-making, not forcing passes like this that we saw. They have much more time on the ball than they think. It's about getting the ball and maybe connecting a couple passes, getting wide, and then getting the goal again. For the Noles, they just need to see that ball go into the back of the net once. I feel like they're taking too long to make up their mind where they're going to shoot the ball. Suarez had 2 opportunities where she took 3 or 4 touches before getting the shot off. Players are not getting their feet set. You get your feet set, you'll get goals.
Well, Dudley and Hudson had 3 combined goals against Virginia back on October 23rd. Halpern and Meredith McDermott had goals for Virginia on that night in Charlottesville. All coming in that second half. This cross, O'Keefe had to be good there and read it well, she did. And a stoppage of play. It's like an injured player for Florida State. Is that Dudley? It is Jordan Dudley, indeed, and Dudley's taken a few knocks throughout this season. She has missed moments of matches where she's had to come out of games with bumps and bruises as Pensky comes out onto the pitch.
This is a moment of pause for everyone in the stadium, a moment of pause for Florida State fans, because she's their most important player. And just to see her moving slowly, you hope to see her get back on her feet. And as an experienced player that she is, I'd rather her take her time with a trainer and communicate clearly then rush back. This is a big game, but you always want to see your best players, or any player on either side, come out of this healthy.
Well, and Mike, Brian Penske was telling us about the last matchup between the Noles and the Who's. Dudley had to come out of that game, and they actually took her back to the locker room. They were checking on her knee, and she told the trainer, look, I got to go back in the game. She heard Virginia tie the match at 2-2, and she ended up coming back for the final 10 minutes. Brian said he turned around, and Dudley's over his shoulder and goes, Coach, put me back in the game, and she ends up being instrumental in Hudson's goal in the 89th minute. That just speaks to the character and the competitor that Jordan Dudley is for her team.
She has a passion for the game and an appetite for the game, but in these moments, seeing her body language, seeing the grimace on her face, this is where I hope that she would look at the bigger picture. And I want, as part of the broadcast crew, I want to see her in this game, but a lesson for players. Yes, being a competitor, yes, having that sense of warrior mentality is one thing, but being smart, knowing your body, living to fight another day is probably the better thing. And I hope that she takes enough time with the trainers, with Coach Penske on the sideline to really get herself collected, to make sure that her body's ready to go if she comes back.
And Mike, you see Dudley trying to catch her breath just a little bit. We don't have any good angles to really see exactly what happened. Trying to slow her breathing. Definitely some discomfort.
Enters the lineup for Florida State.
It's the best look that we have, I'm being told. Top of your screen.
She's moving very gingerly, and it's always hard to forecast what happened, and she's going down on her own accord. I don't know if it was a knock, and you never want to speculate on anything with players nowadays, but she knows her body best, and for her to recognize that she needed some time out on the sideline is good awareness by her, and hopefully she's able to communicate even more with the training staff and the coaching staff on what she needs.
Rihanna Hudson will come in, and as a part of that two front with Soleil Washington, they continue to check on Dudley. Big development here in this one. Second half. 0-0 between the Noles and the Cavaliers. This Ally ACC Women's Championship first round game, a de facto quarterfinal. The winner taking on Stanford next week in Cary, North Carolina in the semis. We already know that Duke and Notre Dame will play. Great note from our talent statistician, Matt Siegel. Stanford, Notre Dame, and Duke have never won the ACC championship. But Wake Forest has, Michael, and there you go.
That's all that matters.
Cross in here from Virginia. And now the Cavaliers will recycle. This is better from Virginia. It's what Coach Swanson wants, right? Dictating the tempo a little bit, keeping the ball.
It really is, and when you make the entry passes, it's the next decision that has to improve. And I love that it's the parting of the Red Seas, playing the ball forward, taking what Florida State gives you, but then comes the second phase, and we've seen it far too many times where as soon as the ball gets forward into one of the front two, it's a bit rushed, a bit too over-eager from the Cavaliers. Their best opportunities have come when they've made the first entry pass, gotten the ball, broken Florida State's press in the middle of the park, and then gotten the ball wide and created overloads in channels to get to the end line and then make the sound cross across the face of the box. And we see Jordan Dudley trying to catch her breath and hopefully get herself back in the game.
And we continue to hope for the best for one of the best players in the ACC, in Jordan Dudley. The stoppage of play has continued on. And Sophia Wen, who took a knock as well, she's slowly and gingerly coming off the field. A lot of bumps and bruises here in this matchup. You knew it would be physical. It has lived up to that as rematches usually are in postseason soccer. But both teams are seeing some of their best players come in and out of ball game at the moment.
And Virginia's been physical. That is the great equalizer oftentimes when you're playing against a physical opponent, a pacey opponent, aggressive opponent in Florida State. We've already seen an opportunity for video review to be in use. Maggie Cagle making that aggressive professional foul. Florida State, two of their better players and experienced players on the sideline.
Suarez just trying to maneuver around Cagle. Cagle doing well. Excuse me, that's Godfrey, 22. How about Leah Godfrey getting back on the defensive side and showing you individual 1v1 defense?
And she's improved in that department, showing her commitment to do whatever it takes to get the result tonight. And I think that has given Virginia defensive solidarity to have attacking players like Godfrey show commitment to get back press, make last-ditch tackles in the box in the first half to keep the 0.
Leah Godfrey, who's second in active players in college soccer for career assists. She's got 33 of them in her Cavalier tenure. That ball out on Florida State. Throw in for Virginia. Here's some of the boos from the officials in the stands. McCormack, former Cavalier. Hudson, shot, and that's going to be well wide. I think if you're Virginia, you don't mind attempts like that one from those spots.
No, you really don't, and you applaud that. You'll take that all day because you have one of the best goalkeepers in the country, in Victoria Safradin, who's already made her presence known with the big saves she's made. And so that's usually a sign of frustration from the opposing side. They're taking shots and wayward shots from distance.
McGovern into the space. Washington can fly. How about that getting to the ball? Impressive speed on display. Washington, the Jamaican international, dispossessed. Florida State will press and earn it back. Here's McGrew. Switching the point. Gilchrist getting forward. Through ball, McCormack. Cut out there by Virginia. Tackle and a foul as Simmons guilty.
Both teams really showing a commitment to duel it out, but full credit to the Cavaliers for getting that sense of soccer savviness, slowing the game down. This game favors Virginia when it's slower and methodical, and favors Florida State when it's end-to-end. So the Cavaliers drawing fouls is a great way to slow the game down and kind of put it more on your pace and more on your terms.
Yeah, that second half back in Charlottesville on October 23rd really favored the way Florida State wants to play. A lot of transitional opportunities. A game that really opened up and allowed Florida State the spaces they want to enjoy. And the Noles were clinical and finishing 3 chances, winning that game 3-2. And it had been almost a month for Florida State without a victory. Brian Penske said it felt like 2.5 years. And he said no doubt the locker room, the confidence had been shaken just a little bit, but he said we had to keep looking at the film. The performances and the expected goals, when you look at the advanced stats, kept saying the Noles were playing really good soccer, but the results weren't quite there. And he said he had to stick to the process. And on that night, getting those 3 points, they found a tangible result on the road in Charlottesville.
It's down to trusting the experience of your players. That a lot of these players are the same players that lifted the biggest trophy you can lift in college soccer, the national championship, 2 years ago. So players don't become bad players overnight, just like you don't become a good player overnight. And trusting the experience of his senior leaders like Heather Gilchrist stepping up, like Wynn stepping up, I think really paid dividends in that locker room.
They'll have to do it, at least for now, without Jordan Dudley, who went off the pitch early in this second half. Didn't look to be a contact injury either. Here's Godfrey. Occupying the width. Plays it square. Halpern on her left. She can shoot from distance. Fires it away. A rocket recycled. But it gets away from Virginia. And that was McDermott. Boy, it was an absolute steaming missile that Octane did well with.
And it's down to the patient buildup of Leah Godfrey, but we've already seen Halpern in the first half probably have the best chance Virginia has had in terms of shots from distance. She can cork one when she gets the right technique, and I love the quick release that she has. If she puts that anywhere else apart from Octane or at Octane, then maybe we're having a different conversation. But the two biggest storylines in the game so far, Aria, have been the two goalkeepers. They've been solid, they've been outstanding.
Yes, indeed, and it's been kind of a contrast, right? The rookie in Octane, a veteran in Safradin. And both have been asked to come up huge. That ball was knuckling, dipping, diving, and I don't think Octane quite saw it in front of her defenders and just had to make a last-second play to do what she could with the ball, like you said. Probably a bit fortunate that it was hit right at her because it didn't look like she had complete eyes on it. But Halpern, how about what she can do from the top of the 18 as we take another look?
Just her ability to create shots and space for herself. The best thing that happened there was that she didn't try and catch it, because when the ball is knuckling, goalkeepers that try and catch it, you can be wrong-footed, your technique can let you down, and worst, you can give a rebound right in front. She gave the rebound, but that's where trust comes in. Her teammates were on hand and on deck to bail her out.
Cormac. Una with the ball, dropping it back. McGrew, the freshman from Stanley, North Carolina, has been impressive in her rookie campaign for FSU. Has earned some starts as well for the Noles on the back line. They're letting her get forward here tonight. Went down, but no whistle. Loose ball, McGovern finds it. White and orange jerseys just trying to come away with a soccer ball that's pinballing around the fields. McGovern at her feet. What can she do with it here? Plays it to the feet of Washington. Washington back on her left foot, shot blocked. Hudson touches it to Washington. Now Virginia's got it. Cagle, transition opportunity, a lot of green grass for the Who's. Here's Cagle, dangerous on the counter, looking for a teammate. She's got Halpern. 1v1 against Van Zetten. Halpern curling left-footed shot blocked. End-to-end action so far. Michael, this is the type of tempo I think us commentators love to call.
I love it. It's like listening to you call the Kentucky Derby. Just here we go. Blah, 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 blah. This is entertainment at its best when we see this snapshot into the confidence of both players and both teams.
And Cagle gets that one wrong, just yanks it.
Cagle, she's had a quiet game. Her biggest contribution was probably a yellow card that she picked up in the first half, but it's good to see her get a shot and really will herself back into this game. And we've seen from the Cavaliers, her 8 goals is a big reason why she's taking shots from distance and really one of the players to watch from Virginia when you look at her body of work. But I highlighted her as a player who could make a difference, and she needs to get herself back into this game. And drawing fouls is a great way, but picking up pockets of space and half spaces, turning and running at Florida State is a great way to do that.
Feels like an important foul, doesn't it? And an important spot for the Cavaliers as we take another look on an angle.
I didn't see much in that, and I probably wouldn't have given that if I was refereeing or the center ref. And I think it's because Gilchrist doesn't attempt to fully play the ball. It's a bit of a gift of a foul, in my opinion.
Being told off screen that Brian Penske just went into the book with a yellow card, voicing definite displeasure at that foul call, and he has been cautioned. to the second yellow on Florida State here tonight. This is dangerous and a good spot for Leah Godfrey, one of the top players in the country, about 23 yards out. She'll go on goal, and it's a big save from O'Keen. One of the biggest moments of the night. Recycled cross. Virginia looking for a second answer, and that one's cleared away. How about the freshman O'Keen?
Great technique, and even better, she didn't give up a rebound to Virginia. We've already seen a battle between these two in terms of set pieces. You think of the first half, set piece opportunity where Godfrey tried to catch her at her near post. O'Keen definitely wiser to the situation, second time of asking.
Ross to McDermott, trying to angle her away. Touch to the center of that penalty spot, going down, big crunch, no call, and O'Keen's on it.
We get a second look. Look at the positioning of O'Keen. Godfrey is seeing that near post is open. She had tried to catch her and thinking second time's the charm, but the footwork of O'Keen is a difference. She's able to gain momentum, catapult herself towards that ball, and her teammates are able to do the rest. And maybe she catapulted herself a bit too hard and too strong because she's feeling it afterward.
O'Keen, who now needs some attention from the athletic training staff. And the Seminoles, who at keeper have Addie Todd, Kate O'Keen, and Evan Osteen. Todd, the veteran, who Brian Penske credited and said, look, she lost her starting spot due to performance, but she has played really well in training, and she has been a terrific voice of leadership in the Seminole locker room, cheering on her teammates. And O'Keen and Osteen have both been battling it out. Osteen, who went to the U17 World Cup with Nanya Torre, hasn't been around the program for about a month, and O'Keen has done well. But the Noles, they say they've got three options that they can use in net, and Penske coined it a good and bad problem.
It's the best place to be as a head coach, and as a player, it's one of the worst places to be because every player wants to play, but this is where buy-in into the program, buy-in into the bigger picture, the we versus the me really comes in, and I think that's been one of the keys to success for Florida State, that it's all about the collective and the collective success of the program. You never know when you're gonna need one of your goalkeepers or players that aren't a factor right now to step up. And I had a situation at Wake Forest where one of our players came off the bench as a goalkeeper to help us in a shootout to get to a conference championship. So that could unfold later on in postseason play.
Nil-nil here. Still in the second half in Tallahassee, 4-5 matchup. It's been a bit of a disjointed second half, at least in the first 15 minutes. Doesn't feel like either team has been able to find its footing. A lot of whistles, a lot of stoppages. Michael, how do you make do of this first 15 and just trying to find a groove if you're either team? It's been a very physical 15 minutes.
For the Seminoles, you can really see the loss of Jordan Dudley's presence on the field. They've lost their rhythm, they've lost their sync, and they've really lost their identity. And that's why I said that she is the best player in the country. The best players in the game, when they're not on the field, the band, the music, the notes, they don't hit the same, and the notes haven't been hitting the same for the Seminoles. For Virginia, they've started slowing the game down, making it more methodical, more cagey, and you're starting to see the likes of Aaliyah Godfrey, Maggie Cagle, who we didn't even call her name in the first half, come to life. And we saw Halpern hit a cannonball of a shot. So in the last 10 minutes, it's been advantage Virginia.
They've outshot Florida State 4-2 here in the second half. And Dudley, for as much as she scores goals, has also done a really nice job of really getting her teammates involved too, right? And you see what they're missing right now, not just in the shots and the goals, but the assists. And that's just an ACC play on the year. She's first in the conference, and she's found a way with all the attention that's given to her, right, in the scouting reports, to be able to get her teammates involved. And that's what the Noles are missing, but they're trying to make do without her. Washington on her right foot. She's uber talented. Her left-footed cross is blocked. And now Virginia looking to find a counter. If they can find space and an angle, Florida State's counter press so dangerous, but that's terrific unlocking soccer from the Hoos. Getting numbers in attack, Virginia. Cagle plays it wide. Opportunity for a cross, individual defending, brilliant from the Noles.
We've seen this time and time again in the second half, where Florida State are making last-ditch tackles, and they're under the cosh right now. Credit to Virginia for moving them from side to side, and right on the money when you're saying it's the third player combination that I really love to see. They look dynamic, they look confident.
Second corner for Virginia. Godfrey does the honors. It's headed straight into the air. Opportunity there, oh boy, Galvin. It came right down to her foot, 5 yards from the frame, and she airmailed it over.
This could be one of those moments that Tatum Galvin is going to replay in her mind over and over again. If this game does not go Virginia's way, chances are at a premium in close games like this. And oftentimes, and jokes aside, sometimes you wish that falls to an attacker instead of a defender. She very much looked like a defender, leaning back and skying that over.
There's Ross on the ball. The Virginia team that's outshot Florida State now 5-2 in the second half. Cavaliers growing with confidence here on the road in Tallahassee. Poor giveaway. Takes a deflection of a Cavalier, and it's a throw for Florida State. So the Noles bailed out for the time being. Trying to find their footing without Jordan Dudley, the centerpiece and the heartbeat of this Florida State team. That's an Asia Cologne on your screen. An important transfer piece for FSU out of the portal.
Without Dudley, players that we were calling their names in the first half, Suarez has gone very quiet. And when I watch Washington, who was combining with Dudley, was combining with Suarez, everything looks very disjointed. And the team looks like a bunch of individuals trying to unlock this stubborn Virginia Cavalier midfield and back line. And now this is a great way to do it in terms of double teaming and getting the ball to the other end. But they really need just a resurgence. They really need just getting passes connected. It seems like it's just one or two passes and then an errant pass out of bounds. They look in disarray right now.
A little over 25 minutes to play in regulation. Remember, in the postseason, you do have overtime and potential penalties as a foul. That Rouser's gone down.
Rouse with the heavy touch, and that's always going to be called as a foul, and it's McGrew who had been the victim of a rough challenge from Cagle in the first half. It's a correct call to give her the yellow card. So far in this game, Rouse has had a steady, just ever-present performance, making the right decisions, connecting passes, showing that level of experience that you need when you're playing in a hostile environment in a difficult place to play that you haven't had success in a few years.
A calming presence, no doubt, right? For an older team that has a ton of relationships on the field, as Coach Swanson put it. Players that have been through the heat of the battle, both positive and negative. They've had the triumphs, And they've had the defeats as well that have crushed their souls. Brian Penske hoping that his FSU team can find a way to be able to battle one out themselves here tonight without his star player on the pitch. Rouse getting into the attack. Finds a teammate. Cagle on her left foot. Cross finds the feet. Virginia looking for an angle to shoot the ball. That was McDermott. It stays with the Cavaliers. And Carter. All the way back to Maya Carter.
All right, since coming on, Cecil Pearl, or Pearl Cecil, she has had some deft touches in and around the box. You think of the combination in the middle of the park. She's going to be one of the players that I'm keeping an eye on because she has the physical frame to hold the ball up. It's what's around her that catches my eye. For the Cavaliers, if you can get the ball to her, she can compete in aerial duels, maybe bring the ball down, lay it off for a potential on-rushing teammate to get the winner.
Michael being updated by our great production crew too, that as that ball gets into the box, it's down, going down, was McGrew, popped into the air, McCormick. Feels like the ball may never come down to the ground. It's like a training session practice. There is 22, Leah Godfrey. We're told Brian Penske was given a yellow card just moments ago.
Hooray, enters the lineup for Florida
And if you
State.
thought he had gotten one earlier, he had not. It was issued to someone else on the team bench, to another assistant coach. So Penske is still allowed to be there and coaching his team. You see 4 yellow cards from Florida State and 5 tonight. A lot on the line. A spot in the semifinals next week in Cary, North Carolina, to play Stanford. And you see tonight, Florida State's offense has been stymied, and a lot of that has to do with not having Dudley on the pitch. Can this lady in front of you, 42 on your screen, Hudson, who had the dagger against the Cavaliers in the regular season matchup, can she find one for FSU? Big frame. She's 6'2". Suarez. Oh, and the delivery leaves a lot to be desired. And a big break for the Cavaliers.
It's unfortunate because Suarez, for as good of a player as she is in terms of industry and running off the ball, the range, she really lets herself and her teammates down. Set pieces are such a good opportunity where if the quality of service is there, that's such a great way to break a hotly and highly contested deadlock. She'll definitely want that moment back, and I expect her to do a bit better second time of asking.
This week, we continue our coverage of fall championships on ACC Network. Tuesday, tune in at 10 a.m. Eastern as the ACC field hockey quarterfinals begin. On Thursday, the ACC women's soccer championship continues with semifinals for Cary, North Carolina. And then finally, men's soccer quarterfinals beginning next Sunday at 2 Eastern. Stanford, Notre Dame, and Duke are going to be in Cary next weekend. Which one of these two teams will join them?
There's something in the water both in the men's and women's programs in Virginia and Stanford. On the men's side, Virginia was the best team in the standings in the regular season. Stanford, the second best team. So whatever they're coaching, I want a piece of it. I want to go back in time and maybe get educated by both of those programs. But I love the changing of the landscape as the conferences have expanded to see the impact of what Stanford has meant both in the men's and women's game to the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Virginia into the attack, 18, Rouse, cross, Gilchrist got a head on it, cleared it out of the box. And now Suarez in Florida State. There's some green grass in the counter. Here she comes, Suarez, the sophomore. Getting forward, looking for a teammate, Hudson, edge of the 18. On her left foot, skipping, and Safradin's got it.
Great counterattack play from Suarez, showing her ability to go coast to coast. And in some ways, Ari, I think she led Virginia off the hook, playing that ball out wide to Rihanna. And Rihanna is your go-to goal scorer right now with Jordan Dudley off the field. But when you have momentum behind you, when you have that breakaway speed, I was always taught by coaches, you have to commit an opposing defender. And because she plays that ball really early as she gets in the box, she lets Virginia off the hook. No defenders are now committed, and they're able to snuff out that opportunity.
Maggie Cagle went down. Did you see her turn to the Seminole fan base, into the crowd, and pump them up? She said, give me more. This is postseason soccer. You gotta love it. The intensity for the final 20 minutes. We talk about tempo being dictated. I think the fans are trying to dictate the final 20 minutes of tempo and energy for Florida State.
Well, the fans aren't used to seeing this. They're used to seeing their Florida State Seminoles side get goals and get results. And in the second half, they've been very frustrated and stymied by Virginia's counter-pressing and Virginia's possession. And if you're the away team at any level you're playing, possessing the ball, keeping the ball is the best way to take the opposing crowd out of the game. And you hear the groans, but it's really been a quieter crowd in the second half.
And Virginia's done a really nice job of that. A veteran group that, again, we've talked about it. They've been through the battles, the highs and the lows together. And they really believe they have what it takes to make it back to the College Cup. This game not just important for the semifinals and for this ACC championships, but also for seeding in the NCAA tournament. Both teams are in pretty good position, not just to host for a couple of rounds in the NCAA tournament, but potentially have the #1 seed. Virginia's got the #1 RPI. Florida State's RPI is 8. There's work left to do for both, but a victory tonight would go a long, long way in the committee's eyes, right, in terms of postseason positioning.
The Cavaliers are looking for a statement win this season, and their schedule, their strength of schedule, out of this world. But that means not as much when you're trying to convince the committee for higher seeding if you don't get a statement win. This would be a statement win for the Cavaliers, and the Stanfords of the world, they got their statement wins. I mean, the streak that they're on, 9 straight, is one thing, but to come to this place, a place where most teams don't come in, let alone draw, they win 2-1. They're a team that I would give a #1 seed to.
Towards that back post, O'Keen punches it away. Cagle turning, lefty cross, headed out. You saw on your screen moments ago, so many opportunities for statement wins in the ACC. 8 teams just high in the RPI. In the box there, going down is Ross, nothing doing. Great defense here from Florida State. O'Keen, who's again done a nice job, the rookie. She's held her line well.
She really has, and she's just growing in stature and growing in confidence. She does the little things well. And if you're looking to build a program and look towards the present and, of course, the future, she is the present and future of that goalkeeping position. And the saves that she's made, the 2 saves she's made in the second half, have kept her team in it, because Florida State have really struggled without Jordan Dudley. And if I'm Virginia, I'm smelling blood in the water. And I mentioned winning time for Florida State. It could easily be winning time for the Virginia Cavaliers. This is where they have to ride the momentum and make it count.
The energy's picking up. You can just feel it in the stands at the Seminole Soccer Complex. Foul there as Washington was elbowed off the ball. It'll be a free kick for FSU. A little over 16 minutes to play. There will be overtime and penalties if needed. If this game goes 0-0 the rest of regulation, that's different from the regular season. Gilchrist, 1-2 with Cologne. Final ball lacking, and Virginia will reset. Hudson. That's Marriott. Marianela Jimenez, Venezuelan international. Van Zanten to McGrew. 1v1, McGrew, the rookie, against the veteran Rouse to her right foot. McGrew continues her run. Off-balance cross. Maya Brandon, number 13, the freshman from Canton, Michigan, on it. Now to Gilchrist. McGovern, Van Zanten occupying a nice space there. Van Zanten thought about the shot, maybe took a bit too long to decide what she wanted to do.
She went for the shot, but she could have gone for the pass because Rihanna Hudson was in acres of space in the box.
In the end of that sequence, Jimenez, her cross is deflected out for a corner. Marianela Jimenez to the beat of the war chant, and corner kick, number 8 for Florida State. Pretty good ball. Gilchrist high to meet it. It's loose, it's down, and Safradin in the end pounces on it. Here's Virginia on the counter, headed out there by Van Zanten. How about that individual play? Now Torre. To another freshman, Brandon. Noles have a lot of rookies on the pitch at the moment. Gilchrist to O'Keen, who's one of those youngsters. Getting valuable experience. Both teams looking for a result here tonight. The cross, Gilchrist. Back to Ross, the junior from Atlanta. All over the back of Maya Brandon. It's a foul.
Victoria Safradin, someone needs to go and buy her a steak dinner after tonight's game if Virginia wins this, because this is one of the scariest moments as a goalkeeper when the ball is pinballing in and around. She's not the sort of goalkeeper that's going to be venturing off her line to punch the ball. She very much stays on her line, but her instincts are what I love. Her timing and her instincts and her positioning on the money, and she makes it look easy time and time again. Love that she fell on the ball to calm that situation down. Virginia, for as much as they've been on the front foot, set pieces can be their undoing. And if they didn't get that right, it could have easily been their undoing on that play.
Just about 12 minutes to go. Rouse in on to the box, defending brilliant from Florida State. Torre and Van Zanten were both there. It's a corner for Virginia. It will be their third.
Torre showing the commitment. That's an attacking player, midfielder by nature with a nose for goal to come back. Florida State are going to need to have that sort of commitment from all players right now because they're under the cosh.
Carter at the flag. She looks to be ready for the corner when play resumes. Started all 17, now 18 games for Virginia here this season. Jimenez is out. Corner kick towards that back flag. Ball is loose. Ball is loose, and it is a foul whistle. It will go the other way. O'Keen was being obstructed.
Initially, there's so many players and bodies in and around the box, and I think there's a bit of a shove on O'Keen in the modern era of the game, and that's good team defending from the Noles to make sure that they're supporting and surrounding O'Keen. But in the modern era of the game of soccer, goalkeepers are always going to get the benefit of the doubt when the ball's floated in there. I think it was the right call. unfortunate for the Noles that call was made in favor of O'Kane.
There's a lot of white jerseys on that line for Florida State as well. Handball on Hudson. Just skipped up and caught her arm. Michael, another great note from our statistician, Matt Siegel. It's a Virginia team that hasn't won an ACC tournament or ACC championship game since 2021 when they beat Clemson 1-0.
No time like the present to change that stat.
No doubt about it, especially in a match like this against the Noles, where you had your hearts ripped out, right? On your own field at Klockner Stadium in the 89th minute by Rihanna Hudson. And what felt like a very even match that Florida State just willed their way to a result. And tonight would mean a whole lot more for the Cavaliers to be able to advance to the semifinals, a place where Florida State has made a home over the last 8 years with 8 straight appearances into the semis. Van Zanten clears it forward. A program with a lot of resilience, these Seminoles are. Especially tonight, they'll need it without Dudley. And they throw in one behind the home crowd, the energy of the Seminole Soccer Complex. 10 minutes to play in regulation.
This is where we'll find out even more about the quality of depth and the quality of mentality and winning mentality of this year's Florida State side. Adversity is a big part of the game, and you never know when your best player is not going to be available, and tonight is that so far for the Noles. On the other side of things, it's also where new heroes can be born. You think of Rihanna Hudson. She was the hero of the meeting last time between these two teams. Can she be the hero once more? And see Jordan Dudley with her jacket on, and I'd be surprised if she plays any more part into this. And maybe it's some tactical switch that we don't know about, but her body language and just the lack of minutes are saying that that might be it for her on the night.
And your heart breaks for her, right? And what she means for this Florida State team, but the Noles looking to be resilient. What a ball forward to Suarez. Inside the 18, her shot is crossed into the side netting. It was deflected, corner kick coming. How quickly Florida State's attack can get going, and Suarez was showing you some brilliance there as she's slow now and gingerly moving towards the corner flag.
Suarez looks the most likely running in behind, but just as much credit as we're going to give Suarez, look at Leah Godfrey. That's what commitment looks like, to make that lung-busting run. That's 10, 15 yards. That's the difference oftentimes in postseason play of winning and losing. If she doesn't make that play, game done.
Off the corner, ball recycled and cleared out. And Gilchrist, just couldn't quite bring it down. And it looked like she was in on goal if she could get it to her foot. I don't think she quite saw it as cleanly as she wanted.
Yeah, she really didn't. She was running towards goal, and it's almost like a wide receiver when it's 4th and 50, and you get the big old Hail Mary, and you're looking the other way, and the ball drops in the wrong breadbasket. She'll want that moment back.
260 plus minutes now without a goal allowed. It had come against Florida State in the 89th. It's a stingy back line and a commitment to keeping the ball out of the net for this Virginia team led by Steve Swanson.
This is where Coach Swanson will have been looking at tape, and when we talked to him about some lessons learned from the recent meeting between Virginia and Florida State, he said that late on,
Noles in the attack, snuffed out there again. Cross from McGrew. Ball forward, pretty good. Had it down, and it's deflected into the arms of Safradin.
Maya Brandon will want that back because she had more time and space than she thought. It wasn't the cleanest of clearances from Virginia, and she just was a bit too rushed in her decision making. Look at this ball dropping. If she takes a touch, she can then make a better decision, but Safradin coming out to clean up the mess yet again.
There was a foul. And it'll be a free kick for Virginia. All new ACC PM airs Monday through Thursday from 6 to 7 Eastern. On Fridays, tune in for a special 2-hour football-focused edition from 5 to 7 Eastern right here on ACC Network and the all-new ESPN app. As that ball cleared away a little over 6 minutes. Michael, what do both teams got to do to find the late game winner?
For Florida State, set pieces is where they've looked most dangerous. No Dudley, no problem. You still have the physical advantage. You still have the aggression on your side where you might be able to nick a late winner through set pieces. For Virginia, they've really asserted control in this game by moving the ball quickly, by really overloading numbers both centrally in midfield and out wide. They just need to be more composed in the final third. The Cavaliers have the players who can be match winners. They just need focus and execution. In the end, 5 minutes can be the difference between your ACC tournament journey ending and continuing. We also have extra time and overtime on display and on offer, but that could change in the blink of an eye.
See Hudson running on, trying to clean it up, but it was cleared out there by the Cavaliers as a foul. Remember, Rihanna Hudson was the one who had the 89th minute goal a little over a week ago in Charlottesville. The late winner for Florida State, a 3-2 victory over the Cavaliers. The two teams tied with 20 points on the regular season, and it was the head-to-head that made the difference for the 4 seed here in the home field hosting rights of our first round.
I remember we were talking about that game and going back and watching it again, it almost felt like Rihanna Hudson's goal happened in slow motion, and full credit to her for having the belief and really continuing her run. So much attention paid to Jordan Dudley on the night, who was on a hat trick when that moment happened. And so every Batman needs a Robin, and that partnership has been so fun to watch. But with no Dudley available the rest of the way tonight, potentially, it's a great opportunity for Hudson to step up, and Hudson's big frame can oftentimes yield fouls, and that's a tired foul. It's a tired play to make from the young Seminole.
You know there are exhausted bodies everywhere here on this Tallahassee night. Cooler temperatures than Florida's used to in this state, into the 50s. Virginia looking for something late. Ball played forward. O'Keefe out. Van Zanten clears it away. Looked like McDermott that was running into the 18. Van Zanten, how about the composure on the ball? After all that, she just walked over, jogged over, and built out of the back for the Noles.
Better her than a lot of other players around the country to have the poise and the awareness of what that moment needed. I know many coaches or many broadcasters who would have held their breath in that. I think you and I were both of them.
Suarez now attacks the 18, angles to her left foot. Suarez goes down, deflected by Rouse, and Safradin has it.
Suarez looks the most compelling player to break this deadlock for Florida State, and she's given this game everything. Such a gifted dribbler, shifty customer. She's been very unselfish, or looked to be very unselfish. I'd love for her to have a go herself just one of these times. She was most dangerous when she got in the final third, made those slaloming runs, and took the shot herself. Look for her to do the same just once, and that could be the difference for the Noles.
See hands on the hips for Suarez. She has given everything here tonight. 73 minutes of action so far for Suarez. Again, if you're just joining us here over the last couple of minutes, a little after 10 o'clock on the Eastern Coast, Jordan Dudley hasn't played for much of this second half. She went out, looked like a non-contact injury. We've seen training staff over for the majority of the half, as Safradin has that. So the Noles are going to have to do it without one of their best players. You could argue their best player, no doubt, and one of the best players in the country. Just 2 minutes and change. McGovern. A lot of space, carries it forward, looks for the through ball, sliding tackle to stop the ball, and McCormack off her foot, throw in Virginia, under 2 to play.
And it had to be Mackey that makes the tackle, and she read it all the way, and now it's trading punches.
Halpern, again, dangerous from distance, got to keep an eye on her. That's Pearl Cecil, 27, the freshman, who's entered for Virginia, trying to get an injection of energy here late, 1:20. Do we have a game-winning goal here in regulation? If not, we go to overtime for 2 periods of sudden victory soccer. Shot there, low, O'Kane's got it on a hop. And now 60 seconds to play in this game, Michael. My goodness.
Full credit to both sides. Neither of them will quit. You're seeing some tired minds and tired legs on display with some of the final decision making, but take nothing away. Both teams have full commitment, and they have 2 of the best coaches in the conference to get it done.
Washington looking for a cross late. It's blocked out. Corner, Florida State's got to hurry. They got 30 seconds. Perhaps one final solid chance for either team here in regulation.
Mars needs to make sure that ball gets out. That's going to eat up more time on the clock. It's unfortunate if this doesn't get off.
Suarez will do the honors. Headed down, all right into the midst of Safradin. Hudson was there, and the final few moments will tick off this clock. We have got overtime in the ACC Championship first round between 2 outstanding teams, and Hudson almost had a deja vu game-winning dagger against the Cavaliers at the death.
If she would have scored that goal, the roof in this place, the imaginary roof, would have blown off because the fans, they wanted it. She wanted this moment. I'm sure we could have seen head coach Brian Penske doing laps around the field, but full credit to Safradin. She has been oftentimes the difference for the
Their way to decide a soccer match. And you can see the last overtime matches for both of these teams, and both did not fare well in PKs. Last year, Florida State's season ending in a stunning loss to Vandy, and Wisconsin taking down the Cavaliers. So someone's fortune is guaranteed to change here tonight, Michael.
Yeah. For Florida State, I remember hearing about that wild game, 3-3, where they lost to Vandy in penalty kicks. You get the early goal. I think they got a goal within the first minute of the game. And shocker, Jordan Dudley does score in that game. But just as quick as they got the lead, the game kind of went away from them. And so this first couple minutes of overtime is so important for the Noles to get back in the game, because they were second best for large parts of that second half.
Hudson and the Noles into the attack early. Washington, Hudson at her feet, not able to get anything on it in the end. Safradin, it was easy. There's Rihanna Hudson on your screen. Safradin, who tonight has been credited with 6 saves. They'll give her one there. Now the Who's into the attack. Terrific nutmeg, creating some space. McDermott on the shot. That is whistling wide. Did it take a deflection? It did not. Oh, you can see what McDermott can do. Michael, she's got game-changing speed.
She really does. She's excellent going 1v1, and I love when she gets isolated in the channels. Talk about deja vu. She had gotten chance after chance in that previous meeting at Klockner. Just a wayward strike in the end. And That's the difference between the McDermott from last season, where that would have ended up in the top corner in the back of the net. This season, left a bit wanting in the final third with some of her finishing.
Only 2 goals on the year, although one came against Florida State in the regular season matchup. First overtime here, and you see what's at stake for both teams. Semifinal appearance for the first time since 2021. And ironically, that's the last time Virginia won a game in the ACC championships. And for Florida State, it's been a common occurrence. The winner going on to play Stanford next Thursday in Cary. What's it going to take, Mike? Final parts of this game, 8 minutes. What are sudden death overtimes like?
Oftentimes, it's doing the basic things well. So winning individual duels, being courageous in winning second balls. Whoever is willing to win second balls and commit to winning second balls usually gets a foothold in the game. But in the end, as the time ticks on, you got to get the ball in the box. Play for knockdowns, play for missed clearances. Both teams are very tired. So if you can get the ball to a Hudson, that ball is just going to go over the top. Maybe get the ball to her, play direct, and then you get Washington coming underneath to play for the second balls. That's what I would do if I was Coach Penske and the Noles. For the Cavaliers, yes, be methodical, but you got to get more numbers in the box. I think there are a lot of players that are dropping deep, and it's a bit of hidden hope right now where players are beating their player and hitting it towards goal. Once you beat your player 1v1 out wide, someone has to be courageous. Is it Leah Godfrey who's going to make that late run to make a gamble and get in to get the game winner? Both teams have to be willing to gamble at the end of the day.
Suarez trying to angle and cut back. Snuffed out there. Cavaliers looking for an unlocking pass. That one cleared out. Looks to be a corner indeed for the Hoos.
Florida State living a bit dangerously, and the Cavaliers are doing a good job of, with McDermott's speed, they're able to stretch vertically, and that's creating half spaces for her strike partner to drop deep, pick the ball up, and then drive towards the back line.
Corner number 4. In swinging ball, headed down, it whistles out. It'll be a goal kick. Terrific ball that was just sizzling inside that 6-yard box.
The delivery was on the money. Leah Godfrey has some of the best set-piece delivery, and that's Maya Carter. They can't get the glancing header redirected on the frame of the goal. Oh man, those are the fine margins. It'll be the difference in the overtime period.
Florida State's last Golden Goal sudden victory win was against Michigan in 2021. And what was the NCAA quarterfinal to book a ticket to the College Cup that season. Foul and a set piece now for FSU. We'll see if they choose to play it direct into the box or build out of the back. It's Gilchrist, the veteran, on it. She will just blast it into the box. Headed on, couple of Noles there. Safradin crunching. Is a foul called? Washington slow to get up.
We have a moment of pause, and Hudson, the intended target. Keep an eye on Washington. And this is what I want to see more of. As I said, play direct to Hudson. But when Safradin is in the mood, which she's in today, she has every right to come for that ball. And when you're an attacking player, yes, be brave, but also be smart. Safradin does nothing wrong there. She's fully committed to the ball. She has her eyes locked in, and she gets a piece of Washington. She's going to be feeling that quite a bit. Looks like she gets hit on the hip. It's good to see her standing up and getting ready to play yet again.
Torre into the match for Florida State, we're told. For Taylor Suarez. McCormack cleared. Now can Virginia turn the ball and get upfield. Elfridge dispossessed, out for a throw. First overtime in Tallahassee. Stanford awaits the winner on Thursday in the semis. Godfrey to Cagle. Rouse working, trying to find the angle herself against McGrew. Turns it, and O'Keen has it.
It's a battle that's going to be going on in this overtime period. Isolated 1v1, and full credit to McGrew. She got beat for half a yard, but she's got the recovery speed that Coach Penske will definitely want in that wing-back position. Both wing-backs in this Florida State side. Yes, adept at going forward, but they have the responsibility and the expectation to be able to recover when beaten, to get back and make big plays.
Simmons on her left foot, shot blocked, recovers. Gilchrist looking for the 1-2. Now McGovern. Simmons plays it into the box on the cross, headed out. Van Zanten to Hudson. Hudson, Simmons. Simmons. Washington, her shot is wide.
Been waiting for the ball to be played out wide. Simmons had 2 opportunities to play it out wide. Gilchrist on both times, but she finally finds it to the better option of Washington. She's leaning back a bit, though. That's why she's imbalanced, and the shot goes a bit wayward in the end. Much better from Florida State. Set piece opportunity. This could be the moment.
Must have took a deflection, because the Noles are going to get their 11th corner of the evening. It's Nania Torre, U17, U.S. International. You got to give Carrie Helfrich some credit there, too. Number 20 for Virginia. Just got enough into the body of Washington to make it uncomfortable. We're told yellow card to Virginia and Steve Swanson's bench. Torre plays this towards the back post. Ball headed down, save! Oh, Safradin, are you kidding me?
2 players at the back post. Keep an eye on Gilchrist. She gets the header. So difficult as a goalkeeper. When that ball is headed into the ground, you have to have quick reaction. And because her footwork is on the money, she's able to shift to that near post and make it look so easy for another set piece opportunity.
Torre runs to the other corner flag. She's going to try it from the right side now. Signals, delivers towards that penalty spot. And now Virginia finds a loose ball, and they're running at the Seminole goal. Ton of orange jerseys getting into the attack. Godfrey with speed. Van Zanten chasing her down. Final touch goes out. It is a corner, Virginia. My goodness, Mimi Van Zanten. A 90-yard sprint. 40 seconds to play in this first overtime. Does Virginia have a sudden victory? Near post, headed down. It will go out off of the Cavaliers. Helfrich got the final touch. My heart is racing, Michael Lahoud.
Yeah, grab some oxygen from the oxygen tank. Ari, I wish I could just teleport one to you, because I thought that was going to be the moment. I love that both of those players, Mimi Van Zanten and Leah Godfrey, will have the final say in the final moment of that portion of overtime. The commitment level is high. The goal just hasn't been there. There's another overtime coming.
100 minutes could not decide a winner here tonight. We've got one. They've had hardware 5 consecutive seasons playing in Cary, and 10 minutes separate them potentially from penalty kicks. And you might remember last year in the semifinals, the Noles needed penalties to beat Wake Forest in the Ally Women's Championship semis. Addie Todd came up huge in that one to send Florida State to the title match where they beat North Carolina.
Right on the whistle, Florida State kicking the ball long, and as I said before, this is a Florida State side that is so comfortable pressing you and being without the ball almost as much as they're comfortable being with the ball, getting in your end and trying to force you into bad mistakes. And looking at the setup for Virginia, they are in survival mode. I mean, in that first overtime period, they were outshot 5-1, and at different times hanging on for dear life.
And if you're wondering where Jordan Dudley is, she has not played for the majority of the second half or these overtime periods. Needed help getting off the field, was able to walk off, but they were checking her over there on the bench. It did not seem to be a contact injury.
Hopefully, as we get more information, you think of the bigger story that is to come. This is a Florida State side that I fully expect them to make the NCAA tournament, whether it be as the champion representative yet again of the Atlantic Coast Conference or as an at-large bid for the ACC. But you want to make sure she's healthy and has full confidence in her body moving forward.
No doubt about it. 2 teams competing for potential #1 seeds in the NCAA tournament, and Florida State will need Jordan Dudley to make a run back to the College Cup when they won the national title 2 seasons ago. They've made 4 out of the last 5 College Cups, and Dudley over 30 career goals. Seminole faithful encouraging their Noles on. Under 8 to play before penalties. A goal would end this thing. Van Zanten has been an iron woman here tonight. McGrew, 1v1 against Rouse. McGrew onto her right foot, looking for an overlapping run. She touches it to McGovern. The chip snuffed out of the air there by Virginia. Cagle, Godfrey. Her former teammate McCormack able to dispossess her.
And then Godfrey yelling at her teammates to give her a shout that there was a player coming from behind. Godfrey's so good driving with the ball, and there's certain players who are quicker without the ball. She's a player who's quicker on the dribble with the ball, and we saw at the end of the previous overtime period her fitness level and her ability to just break away on the dribble in possession to eat up yards.
Mike, at this point, your body has to be telling you to quit, and all that's left is your mind, huh?
This is where that winning mentality comes in, and that sense of self-belief and team belief. There comes a point, especially when you get to the 5-minute mark, should it stay 0-0 and should this game still be going on, where you start seeing the body language of one team who's thinking about penalty kicks, and both teams at a certain point will be thinking about penalty kicks. For Florida State, because you are at home, because you have this incredible home record, you have to take risks, but not with reckless abandon. So getting the ball forward and getting numbers up to counterpress, that is going to be the key for them. Long balls like this, winning the second ball as they're going to do, and then the next phase of attack. You have to be timely, and you have to show a level of urgency that you want to go and win this game.
Washington showing that urgency. Wins the 1v1, pure effort there from Soleil. Played ahead, McCormack turning, Oh, that's beautiful from McCormack. Oh, what a run here from Una. Turning her cross. That's still loose. McCormack looking for a teammate. Van Zanten finds it on her right foot. It's blocked into the air. Safradin, Hudson. Oh my goodness, chaos. And a foul called.
This game has everything, and full credit to Una McCormack for just the patience and the craftiness, but this is all about the commitment to defend. Keep an eye on number 4, Kiki Mackey. That is their ACC conference tournament hopes on the line. And should Virginia get through this game and win, that's going to be the difference. That is as good as a goal.
Under 5 to play. Big slide from Helfrich. Noles win the ball. It's pinballing around. Now the Cavaliers control it. Looking for that through ball. And McGrew was fantastic. This game has opened up. A lot of space, a lot of grass to occupy. And Torre will take it from the wide area. Now Van Zanten. Seminoles will switch the point of attack.
Watching the build-up,
getting high.
Watching the build-up for the Seminoles, so much coming down the right side.
McCormack on her left foot. It took another deflection. The commitment from Virginia's defenders individually. They have literally laid their bodies on the line here tonight.
Defenders and midfielders, that's Ella Carter that made the block, and full credit to both lines of just covering for each other. Such a well-oiled machine, and their defensive unit was a key part of their success early on in the season. A big reason why Virginia was able to be the #1 seed a few weeks before playing this very Florida State side.
Looking for Hudson. She heads it forward, looking for Washington. Terrific by Mackey, so steady. Washington controls. Torre finds herself behind the Virginia defense, edge of that 18, looking for an angle to cross, does so there, ball is down. It's Torre and Rouse. Torre, nutmeg, oh, that's gorgeous. Here's Torre now, that one, it's deflected, and it rolls out for a corner. This is a power of will, Michael Lahoud.
Incredible work from Torre. Earlier in the game, she had made a lung-busting run to make a defensive effort. Now she has an opportunity to serve it on a platter for a game-winning moment.
Torre from that corner flag. It is the 13th corner. To that penalty spot. Now Van Zanten to McCormack. Okay, Kay. Throw in. Under 2 minutes. KK will leave that ball. Part of the Canadian Youth National Team system. Here is that throw in, McCormack. Washington was trying to bring it down. Instead, Godfrey has it. 90 seconds under that to play now. PKs are on the line. Next goal wins McGovern. Washington turning onto her right foot. Oh, what a job by Mackey.
She's been outstanding. A goal-saving tackle moments before. Her reading of the game has been exceptional. And she definitely deserves an applause.
Mackey clears. Found a loose ball in the box. Under a minute to play. Will Gilchrist let it roll out? She does. It's a throw. A lot of time coming off the clock. Florida State just trying to figure out where they wanted to throw the ball. Getting it forward. And now Washington. And a foul called there. A little extra after against Godfrey. 18 seconds counting down. That might be the last meaningful play before penalties. We'll see. 10 seconds. Virginia with 9. Now with 8. Direct played forward 6. Now 5. Ball into the box 3. Octane charges, and guess what? 110 minutes. And we do not have a goal, which means penalties will decide.
Can show up in terms of getting this penalty kick dispatched.
Dudley 1 for 1 this season on PKs. Safradin awaits. Shoots, scores! Right-sided lower of the net. Safradin guessed correctly, but Dudley has the Noles ahead 1-0 on PKs.
She's got a second wind about her, and she's giving her team a second win. Calm, cool, and collected, knowing what she wanted to do, and she opened up her body, but that is so difficult to keep tabs of if you're a goalkeeper when it's hit with pace and it's hit low and hit towards a corner. No goalkeeper is going to save that on any given night.
It's Maggie Cagle, the senior. She's 2 for 2 this season. Attacks, shot, finds it. It's perfect. It beats Octane to the left side, and we're level at 1.
I love that right before she's about to strike this, and Maggie Cagle's had a very quiet game, but she steps up and takes her moment. But right before she's about to hit this, she makes sure that her body is over the ball. That's why, even though she doesn't generate that much power, the accuracy takes over, and she picks her corner.
Brianna Hudson, the sophomore from Rochester, she's 2 for 2 on the year in PKs. Safradin has 2 saves on PKs in the regular season. Here we go. Shot, save, no, it skipped underneath. Safradin into the net. The Noles will take it. They lead 2-1. It was that close.
It's not the best penalty kick you're gonna see, but this is down to the fact that Safradin, I think at the end, the ball was almost hit too slow from Hudson. She loses her focus and her technique lets her down. She gets there very quickly. And that might be one of those moments of what might have been, but here comes Ella Carter with that big tackle late on in the second period of overtime.
Needs this one. Shoots, upper 90. Oh, that was perfect. Beautiful.
Carter knew exactly what she wanted to do. Very casual in her approach. But because she lifts the ball up, it's so difficult when you know the goalkeeper is going to go to either side, especially the side you're going. Make sure if you're going to go high, make sure you get a bit of lift on it. She picks her corner.
It is Taylor Suarez, number 9, the sophomore from Charlotte, North Carolina. Safradin awaits. Suarez picked the left side, and Safradin picked the other way. It's a goal for Florida State. They lead by 1 yet again.
It's a good moment for Suarez because without Dudley on the field, she looked the most promising player. She waited a half a second to see where Safradin was going to go. That just shows that savviness, in-game savviness that she has.
And Jordan Hardiman, she will take the freshman. Shoots perfect, calm, cool, collected. Didn't look like a rookie there. And we're level again at 3.
So often you'll see players who don't contribute as much during regulation and in overtime come in for these moments. Never missed a beat. I love that she gave King the eyes to send her the wrong way.
It's Heather Gilchrist, number 20. Veteran defender. Had her senior night on Thursday in Tallahassee, all the way from Boulder, Colorado. This is her first penalty kick take of the year. Shoots, finds the upper 90. And Florida State leads again. That is a veteran shot, and it was inch perfect.
If you're going to get your 4th goal of the season, make it this way. You would never know she was a defender. Just that stop right there. She stops her momentum, freezes Safradin, and then has the goal gaping to still launch it in. And she still has a lot of work to do. And a class penalty kick.
Virginia going back to another freshman. It's Pearl Cecil. 5'10" rookie, a big moment here. A little freshman on freshman action between Cecil and O'Kane. Cecil shoots, it got a hand on it into the net. Oh, O'Kane guessed correctly, but we're tied at 4.
Pearl Cecil will be going back to Callie with a bit of relief on her face because O'Kane should have had that, and you'd expect her to have that. And it's twice now we've seen both goalkeepers get to the right side of the goal and guess correctly, but just cannot get a full hand on it.
It'll be Nania Torre, freshman, number 7. Shoots, and she finds the net. Tucked it into the left side. And she is hyped, as are the Seminole faithful here in Tallahassee. Florida State perfect in their first 5.
Tori has that extra bit of quality. Never looked like she was going to miss this. We see that more in the modern game. Just that stutter step sends Safradin flailing around the goal. And now this is where the nerves start to pick up.
Addison Halpert, the freshman from New Jersey, to keep it alive. She finds it. Ripples the net, upper left 90. Both teams 5 for 5. We go to sudden death PKs.
Halpert might have one of the best shooting techniques in the entire conference. She had 2 shots that knuckled throughout regulation, and she's on fire and she's feeling it. Never in doubt she was going to make that.
It'll be Gianna Riley. Senior from California. Started her career with Gonzaga. Has been a part of the Mexican U23 system internationally. And now every kick literally matters. Safradin awaits. Riley looks like a short windup to the ball. She takes save! Safradin comes up huge!
Monster save from Safradin. And Riley loses all her momentum the moment she takes a step back. You cannot do that in penalty kick shootouts, especially when it comes to sudden death. Telegraphing it, the moment she steps back and takes those 2 steps, opens up her body. There's only one way she's gonna go. She's never gonna be able to generate enough power. Big save from Safradin.
Maya Carter to send Virginia to the semifinals. The senior shoots. The Cavaliers are headed to Cary for the first time since 2021.